Hello, everybody. Welcome into NASCAR Inside the Race, right here from Race Control in Watkins Glen. I am Alex Weaver. That is Steve Letarte. You just got to listen to a full road course race of Steve Letarte in the booth. But first, before we even start the show, a very proper good morning to our friends in Australia and New Zealand that are watching.
I like
Your
that.
Kiwi friend got it done again. Should be 7:30 in the morning in Sydney.
I'm having coffee with you.
So I don't know how he does it. He has been drinking coffee, I know, since this morning. He's been going all weekend long, talked all day. He's going to continue to talk with us. But Steve, what do you think of this race here at Watkins Glen today?
So it was pretty straightforward. Look, I think it would have been better with a few more yellows. We had the one for the 21 car when he got spun around. The rest were stages. I think it was kind of what I expected. SVG was the car to beat, and he ended up beating everyone. I think it's a little overlooked. It wasn't as much as a pushover as maybe it looked with an 11-second win. Like, I actually think that the rest of the field threw him some different looks. I thought at one point Blaney, Bell, everybody was trying some different strategies. I actually have to commend the 88 who stuck to their plan, which is hard to do when you lost track position. He made it look easy, but it wasn't as easy as he made it look.
Yeah, Shane Van Gisbergen gets his 4th win this season, his 5th career win in the Cup Series. The fewest starts to reach 5 wins since Dan Gurney did it at Riverside in January of 1968. He also, I just want to talk about how good Shane is on these road courses. It's no surprise. His name is mentioned now every single time as it's his race to lose when we're on a road course, because he's the 3rd driver to win 4 consecutive road courses. The first since Chase Elliott did it in 2019 and 2020, obviously Jeff Gordon being the other one. But Shane has added himself to very, very elite company in the NASCAR Cup Series.
Well, and this one was different for me. So he kind of thrust himself onto the stage, or got thrust onto the stage with his win at the street course. And everything there was very different for our normal NASCAR drivers. But this was the one. This was the one that Buescher outran him a year ago. And, you know, the NASCAR consistent drivers have been coming here every year. It's the 42nd time I've been to the Glen. High speed, not super technical, very sweeping. If there was ever going to be a road course where I thought he would have a smaller advantage, I thought it would be the Glen, yet the results are the same. So the big question now for me is, where do we go from here? Jeff Burton brought it up in our post-race show. You know, you don't have testing.
Right.
So you're not going to go run 1,000 laps somewhere. So I don't know if somebody takes the winner and goes down to Australia and runs a supercar for 2 months just to try to get some more laps. I don't know if it's a simulator. I don't know what you can do, because I don't think it is a inherent more skill. I think he's a very skilled driver. I think NASCAR has some really amazing drivers as well. I think it's just, he says it's just laps. This is all he's done his entire life.
Yeah.
Same reason he's a little behind on the ovals. But it's impressive. Look, it's fun to watch. He makes it look effortless.
I spoke to AJ Allmendinger earlier today, who was Shane's teammate back at Colleague Racing in the Xfinity Series last season. And I asked him, what makes Shane so good at these road courses? Obviously, AJ Allmendinger is a road course ringer. He's dominant when it comes to these road courses. And he said it has a lot to do with the fact that Shane is able to, because of his supercars history, he's able to run these tires to the absolute limit and then be able to save the tires once he reaches that limit. And he's so good when he's coming off of the braking and hits his marks and doesn't miss a mark on these road courses. And a lot of it has to do with his supercars history.
Well, and I think we're seeing the fruit of a driver and an owner that committed to full time. I don't think we talk about that enough. So, so this is how I would explain it. When a driver jumps into another vehicle, they still obviously know how to race, but it's kind of like if you drive into getting somebody else's car. It takes you a little bit of time to figure out what the gear shifter is and the radio knob is.
How to open the gas tank.
Yeah, right. Like, it's just different, right? Like you and I know, we have rental cars every week. So when you get a rental, it's like I try to rent the same brand because I know where all the buttons and gadgets are. So my point is, it takes us more mindset to figure out what we're doing. It's not muscle memory. Well, you got to remember, SVG goes to every oval where he is by far not the favorite, right? He's learning week in, week out. He does it with humility. He gives the credit when we come to the road courses of just how talented the other guys are. But now that you're seeing a guy that has a ton of road course talent, and now he's sitting in the same vehicle every week, and I think that matters. I think even though it's at ovals, he knows where the shifter is and this, and everything's becoming more common, more muscle memory. So now you put him back to a track where he's the most comfortable, and man, he's even more standout.
This is a flip side for me, because I want to ask this in 2 parts, but the first part being, when is Shane a threat on an oval? When does he catch up with these other guys?
The answer is I don't know, but when it happens, it's going to be, well, I'm not sure it's ever going to happen. And here's why I would say that. That's not a knock on Shane. You know, just like I think the task of the current Cup regulars to catch him at the road courses is tall because he's a little better everywhere. I feel it's the same way when it gets flipped, right? You're asking Shane to go keep up with, name the driver, right? Byron, Bell, Elliott, whomever it may be, who have run so many laps on the ovals. Do I think he could ever win on an oval? Perhaps. Do I think he's ever going to, match these guys just heads up week in and week out? I think that's a tall task. That's on a man's 36 years old. It'd be one thing now. Connor Zilic, who's had quite the weekend to win, a fall in victory lane. I know we're going to talk about Zilic. I would have loved to seen him in the race today just to see, but it's he's 36. The fact that he runs all the ovals, I love because I don't know, it allows me to be a Shane Van Gisbergen fan. Right? He doesn't just dip in where he can win. He's going to go take his lumps at Richmond. And I think that's great, right? And he's going to do it with a smile.
Yeah, the next 2 weeks he'll be 30.
So he'll get better. Yeah. He'll get better, but will he ever catch up? No. Will he ever be close enough that his road course racing can carry him through? That's the real question.
Yeah. And I think the flip of that for me is asking you, are the Cup Series drivers that are good and dominant on ovals, are they okay letting Shane take the 4 and 5 road courses a year?
So the $1 million question, okay, no. These guys are too competitive. I don't care what they say. They're not going to be okay with it. It's going to get old after a while. I just don't know what you do. You can't test. So I joked about it, but is it something, do you go find, all I know of is like a V8 supercar. I'm sure there are others. But do you go find something else that you can just go race lap after? Because I don't think it's, the transmissions is so different, the braking's so different. I don't think it's a truck or an Xfinity car.
Yep.
I think that it would have to be something more similar to this style. Maybe it's just an IMSA and you run like a GT3 car. I don't know the right answer. I'd have to ask guys that drive these more often. But I just think it's laps. The question is, how much time do you want to commit to it, and does that pull away from something else you're working on?
Well, San Diego will be a brand new road course street circuit next year for Shane. So I don't know. The Kiwi might do it again in San Diego next year. But let's get into, I have a lot of notes and some topics that we're going to break down.
I think it's funny that you have a notepad, and even I've moved on to an iPad.
I'm old school. I write it down. That is old school. I still like to write it down and see it. Okay, so I personally wrote this note on my
Well, you skipped over his big contract.
Oh, yeah. You can touch on it.
Well, so back to his age, because I'm getting a text from a friend that wanted to know if 36 was too old. I don't think 36 is too old. I think, we always look more. Can't the guy come over here and win a couple road courses a year for the next 3 or 4 years, win 10 or 12, 14 NASCAR races, and he's having a great time.
He is having a great time.
So I don't think 36 is too old. I think Denny Hamlin's still winning into his 40s.
Yeah.
So no.
I like that Shane has come over, done something different. You can tell, obviously fun is in winning, of course. So he's having a lot of fun when he pulls into victory lane. But you can just tell he's learning a lot and having a lot of fun here. But I wrote this down as a personal note because I feel like when we would come to these road courses in the Cup Series, and obviously we're seeing more and more every single season, but they used to be a bit of a wild card. It was like, okay, you may have 5 or 6 names that can win. Here lately, they've been a little bit more predictable. And I say that because SVG has won 4 of 5 in the Cup Series. Connor Zilic and Shane have won 4 of 5 in the Xfinity Series. Corey Heim has dominated 2 of 2 in trucks. Where are you on the road course, and how do we feel that it's been kind of predictable?
So I think it's been streaky in history. So we go all the way back. Gordon won 6 in a row.
Dominant.
Then Stewart won, and then Chase Elliott won 4. So I think it's kind of been streaky. Now I think some of that is both talent and equipment. So I do think it's a little more predictable. But I love the storyline. Reminds me of like Tiger Woods in his heyday. One of the reasons I tuned in was to see if somebody could beat him. So I think that the question of who can beat SVG is real. And it should be asked at every road course we go to until somebody does it on a consistent basis.
Yeah. I think anybody watching the sport, you have to admire how talented of a driver Shane Van Gisbergen is showing. He is putting on such a clinic when it comes to these road courses. All right, let's get into our weekend winners. It's a segment we do here on NASCAR's Inside the Race. So Steve and I like to break down who we thought won the weekend. Sometimes it may be the guy who pulled into victory lane. Sometimes it may not be. And for this list, we have some different names besides Shane, which we've obviously touched on, the race winner here this weekend. But I want to go back to Saturday's race winner. Connor Zilic is a weekend winner for me.
Can you be a winner and a loser?
I know he has a broken collarbone.
I feel awful for the kid.
And took such a scary, scary fall and hit on Saturday. But he is my weekend winner because it was just a broken collarbone and he won an Xfinity race.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it, look it up on social media. I hope we don't play it here. It gives me goosebumps. He basically stood on the door top. His foot fell next to the seat, and he fell. It looked like it could be way, way worse.
Got stuck in the window net.
Oh, I know. It looked like it would be wait. He was supposed to be in the Cup race. The collarbone. Look, I haven't broken a collarbone, so I'm not going to say it's no big deal, but it is much better than I thought it could be.
Yeah, yes.
So, yes, his drive on Saturday was outstanding. I would have loved to see him in the Cup race. Now, the good thing for Zilic is he's 19. So, I mean, I can hurt myself, with a sneeze anymore. I can pull a muscle. At 19 years old, I'm sure he's going to bounce back much quicker.
Yeah.
And we wish him all the best. And I thought it was first class for that to happen and to come back to the track. He gave us an interview on USA. Got walk around and see everybody. So it was great to see him at the track.
Connor Zilic is a class act. And he did say on the USA broadcast to Marty that young bones hopefully will heal quickly.
Right.
So that was
I will say real quick, we can break down his years. So remember, he's broken his back, so he's already had a medical waiver, and I only say that because he's already missed some races. So I think that Xfinity's off next week. Then we go to Daytona.
Yep.
I could see him not running Daytona and healing another week. It's not going to put him.
Are you running Daytona with a broken collarbone?
I'm not. I'm not running Daytona perfectly healthy.
Me either.
Then maybe Portland is out there on the horizon. Maybe you send him back at Portland because you could win some playoff points there if he is healed up. So I don't want to overlook the injury, but I do think at the end of the year, this injury hopefully will be something in the past. I think he'll have a chance to run the playoffs.
Yeah, and he is, I would say right now, the championship favorite there alongside maybe a couple other guys in the Xfinity Series. So he is wanting to have a bigger prize at the end of the year. But Connor, we're glad you're okay. We're wishing you a speedy recovery. But let's get into some more of our Cup Series winners that we thought from this weekend. I first want to touch on the 17 of Chris Buescher. Your thoughts on that? He's
my big winner. And here's why. When I look at the points, you have Tyler Reddick a bazillion above. So he's in. I'm going to lock him in. That's a technical term, bazillion. Bazillion. Bowman plus 60, Buescher plus 34, Priest minus 34. I think if you're below the line now, I think you're going to be thinking must win.
Yep.
Unless Buescher has a major issue. If he goes into the last race at 40 or above, I think he's in minus a new winner. So I think the points battle is between Bowman and Buescher. Buescher won stage 1, missed stage points at stage 2, but he gained on Bowman now only, if my math serves me, only 26 points behind. So I think now, I don't think it's about Buescher to the cut line. I think it's Buescher to Bowman. I'm going to assume there's a new winner. If there's not a new winner, he's in. He's not going to lose 34 to Priest. So I think it's about making those 26 up on Bowman. If you can leave Richmond, let's say he makes up another 14 or 16, and you go to Richmond 10 points behind Bowman. Now you can say, even if we have a new winner at Daytona, if I score 10 more points than Alex Bowman, I'm still in. You give yourself almost 2 pathways. So I think Buescher was the big winner here.
So the 60 of Ryan Priest is an absolute must-win for you.
It is for me. I don't see 34 points over 2 weeks. I'm sure Racing Insights will tell me it will never happen. It could never happen. Kyle Busch and Ty Gibbs, they're all basically mathematicals, so they have to win the race. But I would say Kyle Busch, I'm super interested to see him go to Richmond because Austin Dillon, what gets lost last year is Austin Dillon won the race, and we talk about him wrecking those guys to win the race and all. He dominated the race.
He did.
Fumbled the final restart, and that's why he had to run some guys over. But if you give him and Kyle Busch that same speed advantage they have, I know Kyle Busch hasn't had the best 18 months, but he's still Kyle Busch to me. So I'd love to see that car that the Dillon had last year. I'd love to see Kyle Busch have a shot in that this year.
Kyle Busch is unfortunately featured in one of our other segments here, the one segment that you don't want to be featured on here on the show. But we have 2 more winners, and it's basically...
You're giving everybody the win.
It's just winning because you showed up and you had a solid day for these next 2 guys. It wasn't bad, was good, wasn't great, and that is William Byron and Christopher Bell for me.
For you, because I agree, they just had
solid days.
They're like the best of the non-SVG class.
Sure.
I will say I thought Byron was super positive in his interview. Like he was like, "Hey, we won last week. We came back this week. Nothing fell apart."
Yeah.
And he just put a good drive on. So I could give you that. I give you Bell and Byron. For them, I don't know if it's about points as much as momentum. So with the playoffs around the corner, multiple time winners, I think they're like trying to head into the playoffs on the upbeat.
I think for me, a guy that hadn't won, and it was the Daytona 500, so it's the biggest race you can win besides the championship. But for the 24 to not win since February, gets the win last week, and then comes out here and has just a good day, finishes in the top 5.
Yeah.
I think it's a good day for the 24. I also would give it to Christopher Bell. And if you look right now, it's William Byron, Chase Elliott, Denny Hamlin, Christopher Bell in the top 4 there. But the 24 has, I don't want to say it is impossible, but he has catapulted himself a little bit higher in the regular season chase.
They've done what they needed to do, because remember how close this was just a few weeks ago. So William Byron to kind of stretching his legs, getting those bonus points will help him for sure when he hits the playoffs.
This next part is, I just want to get Steve's take on this, because I don't know personally what a team meeting is like on a Monday or a Tuesday, but I have to imagine they're a little more difficult when you have multiple weeks of just watching teammates be aggressive.
Look, so you asked me what's happening, and what I tell you, we're getting to the time of the year where there's no more like nice guys.
Yeah, we're all over
like if the
each
ship's
other.
going down and we're going to the lifeboats.
Yeah.
At race 5, it's like no, please, you go first. But at race 22, it's like, no, get out of my way. I'm getting in the lifeboat first.
Yeah.
So I think that it's and as a race fan, we should love this. I think that taking advantage of everyone, including your teammates, is now what's acceptable, and I'm good with this. I like that they raced hard. We had Nemechek cannonball the 43 out of the way going up the S's. Then
That's
got
one.
Yep.
One round of teammates.
Right here, look at this. Now, look, it wasn't on purpose, but he definitely didn't feel bad about it.
It was a forget you. Here, enjoy
Now, I don't know if
grass.
Ty Gibbs is like now on Eric Jones's Christmas card list, because we go down to the carousel and he ships the 42.
Yeah,
here's the payback from a non-teammate. I don't know. Ty Gibbs was just angry all day.
Toyota teammate.
Watch this.
I mean, somewhat counts. Yeah, didn't care. Get out of my
care.
way. Okay,
Look
so
at that time of the year.
That was the legacy teammate battle that we saw. Do we have any video of? I think we showed the 24 and the 48 of
that was just a little.
No, you still. That's still going to be brought up on Tuesday. No.
Man, so I don't know, because I will tell you that the success of that company when I was there was that they celebrated the winner. Like, you were mad when.
I mean, I get it wasn't that big of a hit.
That's
but
okay.
Maybe let's just not.
I mean, not if you're William Byron, you probably didn't love it. But.
No. And then the last one, and I think we should video this already too, but this was Spire Motorsports teammates going at it. So Carson Hocevar over there on the left, Michael McDowell, who took a hard hit on Saturday as well. So just.
That one's a little unfortunate.
We were just, I felt like punting people.
It's that time of year. It's great. Richmond should be awesome.
And Daytona just scares me for the regular season finale. All right, let's also talk about the best race that we think you missed. You want to give this one? I think you remember who it was. Do you remember?
Which one do you want me to give? I have a few.
Okay, give your top choice.
My top choice for best race you missed might be Briscoe.
Okay, that's what I have written down.
He came, I forget stuff. But so here's why I say that. You talk about momentum. So Briscoe decided to run long. Okay, so if SVG's out there and you're trading blows and he is absolutely winning the day, you have to figure out something. So James Small says, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to run really, really long, hope a yellow doesn't catch me, put some tires on, and maybe if we go to yellow, I'll be able to line up close to him. He came out of pit road outside the top 15 and drove this thing to the front, and it was fun to watch. It was great to see the tires lose grip over time. So I think Briscoe had one of the best drives at the end. McDowell had a couple slow pit stops, hurt his day. But I think Briscoe had the best race that most people probably didn't see in the last 15 laps.
What do you see as a crew chief between Chase Briscoe and James Small? How do you see that relationship working?
I think that they're getting on the same page. It sounds to me like, so look, it's really hard. I did it. I switched from Jeff to Dale, and you just try to figure out like what they need. And I think that James found a lot of success with Truex, and I don't think Briscoe has ever driven somewhere like Gibbs, where so much is at his fingertips and so much speed in the car. And now, man, they are starting to put a little bit of a streak together where days like today seem normal, and that makes a team very dangerous. And I don't know what they have in qualifying, but they are like the most.
He's going to win every pole.
I mean, it's unbelievable. So I do think like days like today will get overlooked, but they are sometimes. A day like today for the 19 can be as important as anything when you look back over the season. On day, or he even said in his interview, he goes, man, we weren't good. First adjustment fixed it. And he goes, but that's what always happened. Like he instantly was like, James just fixes it.
Yeah.
So that positive momentum So that's why I think that day mattered for the 19.
How far does the 19 get in the playoffs?
Oh, man, that's a great question. I think I can get him. He's one of my round of 8 contenders for sure. I have the 19 making a round of 8.
John, Nick, mark that down.
Round of 8.
If he's wrong, he's buying us dinner.
551 at the Glen. That's fine, because if I'm right, y'all are buying me dinner.
Great. Perfect. Chase Briscoe, just a solid year. Really shown what he can do when he's given the right equipment, the right organization. The expectations, we talked about him a lot in this 19 car. It was to make the playoffs, win a race.
I think he's being overlooked because of the SVG dominance. Second at Sonoma, ran well here. I think this happened to a few guys. Like if you take SVG out, William Byron, Briscoe, there are some cars that are now being contenders everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
I use a contender loosely here because I don't know if there was really a lot of contenders to SVG, but if you take him out of the mix, I think Briscoe had a chance to win the race.
Okay. I like what I'm seeing from the 19. Round of 8. Mark it down.
Yeah, I'm good with that. I feel good about it.
So we're going to come up to the struggle bus. This is what I mentioned.
Oh, yeah, you lead. Because when it's negative, I don't want to go first.
Here on Inside
All right, so
the Race.
You tell me then.
Okay,
the struggle bus, you have to assign a negative connotation to some poor team that worked all week to come up here to have a great day, and you're going to just thumbs down their effort.
So I'm taking low-hanging fruit just simply for the fact of it basically took him out of regular season championship contention. They're in the garage doing a repair that you do not want to do in the middle of a race, and it's the 5 of Kyle Larson. When we would come to road courses, I'm so used to seeing Larson being up there in qualifying, having really strong runs here. He may not always win it, but he's finishing in the top 5 or 10 every single week. And this week, for whatever reason, it was not the 5's week, and it hasn't been the 5's week lately.
So you asked what the meetings would be like when teammates ran into one another. Those are nowhere near as heated as meetings like this. So the 5 car ended up with brake issue. They came in, they changed a couple brake lines. So I don't know exactly what it was, but they had some sort of leak.
How difficult is that in the middle of a race?
Oh, your race is over, right? 15 laps down. Now, listen, they did, air the tires up like they did in Mexico, and they got the Xfinity fastest laps. A good thing for Cliff Daniels and Kyle Larson. I'm not going to rant about that again because they're playing the game as it should be played. But this is one of those things that makes you lose sleep as a crew chief at night, because how can this happen? And if it happens at Hendrick, it can happen anywhere. Right? Penske, Gibbs. And I just feel like this is where you have meetings and you say, what procedure, what did we not do? How did we overlook it? Is this a human error, or is this simply, a part that went bad? And then how do we inspect this part? This is the sleepless moments for a crew chief when you fall out of a race mechanically before basically the first stage is over.
Knowing when this happens in the middle of a race, is it communicated to the other 3 cars and teams? Like, hey, this has happened to us. Like, is there a worry that it might be organization-wise?
Well, for sure. It used to be more of a worry before everybody had more common parts. Like, for instance, 20 years ago, whatever the brake line routing was on a Hendrick car was the same on all the Hendrick cars. But now you would imagine it's kind of the same for the whole garage. So I think there are some parts that would be a concern. This seemed to be isolated. But, yeah, this is awful.
Yeah, I mean, just to stop the bleeding day. He did get the free pass one time and got a lap back. So that was the positive, the peak of Kyle Larson's day, I feel like, today. But
that's like getting a speeding ticket for only 9 over.
Exactly.
But you still get a ticket.
You don't get your license taken away, but
yeah,
you still get the ticket. But basically took the 5 out of regular season championship contention. So I know obviously they'll head to Richmond and Daytona and just try to get back on a championship pace.
So I have another one.
Sure.
I have one. I'm not going to make you be the only bearer of bad news.
That's fine.
I wouldn't carpool with Kyle Busch.
Me either.
So the 8 car for the first half, 2/3 of the year, I didn't have a lot of empathy because I just don't think they were fast. I know they're trying hard, but but lately I actually think the 8 was really good at Iowa, wrecked.
They were.
Had to go to a backup car, recovered to have a pretty decent day.
Yeah.
Then comes here and qualifies inside the top 5. I think has a really decent day going. At some point, everybody gets cycled back in traffic, even SVG. And then they get stacked up 3 wide heading into the final corner, and the 8's kind of on the outside. And this is no harm, no foul, no one's fault. But the result is the 8 gets jacked around, spun around, bangs wheels with the 11. So Kyle Busch, even with a car that wasn't going to outrun SVG, but you want to stay in contention in case this was SVG going around. It could happen. So the struggle bus for the 8 is real. Hopefully they can shake shake the bad luck at Richmond.
How do you stop the bleeding, though, on a season that has been, I feel like, as you have mentioned, and it's not just been the last couple of weeks, there have been some times that Kyle Busch has shown a spark, and this may be the week that we see the 8 at least finish in the top 5, and it just, I mean, it's stuff like this every single week.
I'll give Kyle Busch everything he's saying on the radio and in his interviews right. He's keeping his attitude pretty positive. I think, speed does overcome some of it. How about this? I'd rather come here and be fast and wreck than be poor Chase Elliott, who finally ran outside the top 20. I cheated off your notes a little. But, Chase Elliott finally finished outside the top 20, and he didn't really hit anything.
Yeah.
So I would rather be the 8 with more speed and get spun around.
Here is what I will say about the 9.
Okay, wait.
Yeah.
Should we be glass half full? It took 22 weeks to run outside the top 20, or glass half empty that it happened at Watkins Glen?
Interesting question. I think you can kind of go both. It depends on what bar stool you're sitting at, how your glass looks. But I feel like, and maybe this will change as we get into the playoffs and folks start to get some momentum and there's some different players that kind of show up. We all hear about it. Ryan Blaney went on a heater to win his championship. Joey Logano showed up out of nowhere kind of. For the 9 of Chase Elliott, I feel like it has been a very consistent, but very average year.
So my only counter to that is when I look at the Insights ranking, he's 7th for the entire season on speed, 5th on long run speed, 1st on passing, 3rd on defense, 3rd on pit crew.
Okay, so this is what we need to.
So he has the numbers. Here would be my statement. I think that he has a very throwback year to a non-throwback system. So in 2004 or 3 or 2, I think that Chase Elliott would be an absolute title contender. Well, in 2025,
he would be.
This consistency. I think this is round of 8 consistency. I think that consistency can get you advanced.
Talks about the old format so much is because the old format, he's a championship favorite at this point in the season.
So the question is, though, can they find a way to just increase the firepower? I don't know the answer. Listen, William Byron only won his 2nd race last week. Mm-hmm. It was his 2nd win, which is shocking to me. I thought, in my mind, he had won many more times, which I knew he hadn't. That's what I'm saying. Why is it so different? William Byron's only won 1 more race than Chase Elliott, but we're not saying that about William Byron.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
But you know what I've learned about this playoff system is you just have to get hot at the right time. And I think Chase Elliott has been consistent enough that if they can build on that, their step to great is much smaller than other guys.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
I would agree. But I do think at some point you have to show, you have to be Kobe Bryant in the Lakers.
Okay, so I have a crazy off the wall. Is a bad run finally what they need? Sometimes, everybody has a plan until you get punched in the mouth.
Yeah.
Right? Was this the punch in the mouth? Right? They won Atlanta, and I thought maybe that would be the springboard. Maybe I'm looking at it wrong. Maybe it needed to be the other day. Maybe they just needed to go and just be bad for them to finally say, you know what? We need to take more risks because we've been very consistent. That's not working. I don't know, but.
How's Chase at Richmond?
Man, I think Chase is good at everywhere. Oh, let's see. Russell, how's Chase at Richmond? He's completed all but 1 lap, is what my man Russell's telling me.
There we go.
Chase Elliott's Richmond numbers, I think he's kind of good everywhere.
Which is a good problem to have. You want to be good everywhere, but I need some
Chase at Richmond. I'm trying to think about that.
Some shimmers and sparkles of great for him to be a championship favorite of mine just this season. I think Chase is an incredible driver.
So I'm not discounting Atlanta, but I need a non-speedway win.
Correct.
That's what I need.
I would agree.
I'm with you on that.
I would agree.
Non-speedway win.
Yeah, and that would shut up my.
So if he goes to Atlanta, if he goes to Richmond, and leads 100 laps and wins the race,
I'm mute. I will eat crow.
That would shock me. I wouldn't have that on my radar.
I would eat crow, but I mean, sometimes it does take. We see in football all the time.
Hot off the presses. Never won at Richmond, but he's been top 10 in 4 of the last 6, which is better than his top 20.
But again, good.
I know.
It's good. I just need a little bit more.
What is the fan like? I want to know what the fan likes.
I know what the fans
I know they like Chase Elliott, but do we only care? Have we moved so far? And this is more of a media conversation in general. Are we only highlighting the winners, or are we happy with consistent good runs?
I do think if we were in an old format and it was based off of points and consistency.
Yeah, but if we were in an old format, everybody would race different.
True.
Like you can't take these results into an old format.
True. No, I hear you.
I mean, you can't eat soup that's supposed to be served hot, cold, and think it's going to taste good. Like that's not how it's going to work.
Yeah. No, but I just think that there have been years where Chase has been, in my mind, maybe a little bit more dominant. And maybe I'm not giving him enough credit, and I'm not looking correctly at all of the numbers of this 9 crew, because they are very, very solid and very, very good in a lot of aspects of the season. But I just haven't seen that, like, greatness this season.
No, I hear you. I have to agree.
Mark that down. Wow, a lot of firsts going on today. Okay, let's get on the pit box, because I obviously wouldn't be doing the show justice with my resident crew chief here to not break down technicalities from this race, what we saw. So I just want to touch on the pit stop strategy to begin with, because we saw some challenges on pit road as well. Because when you come to a road course, you're obviously pitting the wrong side from what you're used to. It's pitting in reverse. So that presented a lot of things, but the strategy also was a little different.
So I was team 3 stop. I thought you should have shorted stage 1, shorted stage 2, and then pitted in stage 3. And that is what won the race, but SVG won the race, not the strategy. If you look at what actually dominated the top 5, it was only 2 pit stops. I have it here. So we have the 88 stopped 3 times, the 20 and second stopped twice, the 17 stopped twice, the 24 stopped twice, the 19 3 times, and then the 12 car only stopped twice. So I was wrong. How I was gonna run this race was incorrect. The guys that stopped twice definitely migrated to the front. Keeping that track position mattered, which is shocking, because I will say, we can pick on Goodyear all the time, not enough fall off. We had it here today. The tires went slippery.
Yeah, we did.
William Byron said at the end that he was basically just drifting around this racetrack. So I think that now the lack of yellows might have helped that a little bit.
What I was just
but 2 pit stops is what mattered more than anything. I have a more technical conversation I want to have about Watkins Glen, which is going to be super unpopular. So I hate track limits that have to be officiated, because I like tracks that you should just stay on the track. I didn't think it mattered. Now I am team get him back on the racetrack at Watkins Glen. I don't love the Watkins Glen that I see. I love the track. I love the area, but I love the track in its design. I think turn 1 is not as great of a corner with no exit, like respect or responsibility. You just blow the exit. I think the carousel is a much easier corner, being able to just go driver's left. I also think turn 6 is going. Let me add that I think that the Zilich SVG wreck between the last 2 corners happened because they left the track. And the Austin Hill wreck with Michael McDowell happened off the racetrack. Now, both could have been avoided, and we could talk about who's at fault. That doesn't matter to me. What I'm saying is I've never driven a lap at Watkins Glen. I can analyze what happens between the white lines. But when both of these cars, watch this right here, when they go off track, now it's like, well, how much should he come left? Should he not come left? Like how much room should he give a guy that's off the track? It becomes a more awkward conversation. I would just say this. I believe this racetrack would be better racing with a more restricted racetrack. Now, I don't want to do that with officiating. I don't have a suggestion. I don't know if it's a strip of gravel, a strip of grass,
kitty litter,
put some AstroTurf. I don't care what it is, but here's why I say this. I'll get all technical. You go down into turn 1, you only have to slow the car down like 10 miles an hour less than you used to, because you don't even make the corner. It's not 90 degrees anymore. It's like 60, because you turn down in and you just straighten the wheel. Now, all of this has been paved for safety, and it's real. Like, we don't want cars getting out on the gravel. And we want the ability for a driver. Like, look at that shot right there. 85% of the cars are off the racetrack. I want the off the racetrack opportunity for when you get spun out or get sent.
You're right. There's 1, 2, 3.
That's my point.
Yeah.
I want all of those cars. And now, look, it's not an official thing. Like, you can't say I'm going to penalize them. That's dumb.
Yeah.
And I don't want to this is why I don't like gravel completely, because if you get shoved off, I don't want you to destroy your race car. I want you to get back on and keep racing. I'm not trying to penalize them. I just want the driver to feel like being on the racetrack is the preferred line. So we, as an industry, have to come up with a way that's not more dangerous to the driver, not devastating to the race car. We've seen the turtles that destroy race cars. That's silly too.
Yeah.
So I don't know the answer. I don't know if it's a strip of AstroTurf that's like ice. But I would love for the drivers. And now listen, I'm going to tell NASCAR and Watkins Glen gave this a shot. Last year, they ground all that pavement out there. Burton and I went out there in the pace car. We ran one lap, and I'm like, well, there's no way they're going to drive over this. And he's like, I don't know. It's really rough. Second lap of practice, they're driving straight over it, and we just threw our hands in the air. So it has been attempted. The drivers need to be involved in this because they're the ones to be tested. But I want to see race cars stay on the racetrack.
I agree.
Because I think it'll be a better race.
Yeah.
I think your car will have to drive better. Then you'll have to – I just think it'll be better. This is such an unbelievable facility.
I feel like that's a pretty popular opinion.
I don't usually have many popular ones, so if this is a popular one, jump on board with me.
So realistically, if they were to come to you and be like, hey, Steve, what do we do next year to fix this? Your answer would be –
So I got this crazy idea. You know that AstroTurf they put down at Charlotte?
Yes.
We've spun cars through that, and it holds up. So I'm no track designer, but what if we put give them a half a car width over the curb, and then we put, I'm going to say, a 20-foot wide section of that turf that runs parallel to the track. Okay. And here's why. We go down in there, you run into me, and I spin out over the grass. Doesn't tear my splitter off, doesn't tear my diffuser off. I grab a first gear, or I go in there and they're wrecking. I, with confidence, can turn left, drive over that, because I know there's asphalt on the other side. Sure. So we're avoiding some of the bigger wrecks. But if I hit it at speed, I may spin out on my own, or I may just go across it like black ice. I think that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for an anti-grip strip. We have paved areas where they have a ton of grip. I want this thing paved with ice somehow, where it is just obvious to the drivers that your best thing is to be on the racetrack. So I'm voting Charlotte Motor Speedway's AstroTurf.
All right.
Now, I don't know if it'll work.
I mean, it's an idea.
Somebody way smarter than me is going to have better ideas, but I want to hear them.
I don't love seeing a race off of track limits. It's just, you have to keep them inside of the track limits. Let them race. Let them not have, we saw the Shane and the Connor Zilic. I mean, not have them to where he has to come all the way back left.
I just want to double down. Officiating is silly. When we start officiating to an inch, that is just a bad idea. Every race I watch where you have to officiate track limits, I'm not a big fan of. So that wouldn't be my solution. We have to have something that officiates itself. Mexico worked pretty good with the tire.
Yes.
I thought that was going to be super bad. I thought somebody would hit it. But if you got shoved off on the wrong side of the tire pile, you can pick up your notes. It's okay. If you get shoved off on the wrong side of the tire pile, you just give the time back. So there's an answer somewhere out here. I'm just not the right guy. That's my soapbox for the day. I'm going to climb on. Watch this magic. Watch this magic right here. Notes are back.
Notes are back. Well, Watkins Glen, I would have liked to have seen. I don't want anybody to get hurt. I don't want it to be unsafe. I wanted a little bit more cautions. I wanted some. I bet
the drivers would be okay with it. Surely they're sick of beating themselves up driving all over those curves.
I mean, I don't want to do it personally.
Yeah. Okay.
So I would have liked just a little bit more action strategy.
Is it okay that it was a okay race?
Sure.
I don't like to rank races, because I think it's easy to there's no metric that you measure it on. But I would say I think this race, some of the reasons because SVG is so good, and I'm not going to hold that against them.
Yeah.
I think that, we had one natural yellow, and I think that those races can be, less than ideal to follow at times. So,
but I will say we're heading to 2 racetracks, and Steve is right. You can feel. I don't want to say that we're all tired of each other, but you can feel that we're not being as friendly in driver intros. We're not being as friendly in drivers meeting. Yeah. We just kind of sit and take to ourselves. We're getting at that point in the season where, and I always say it, it's like the calm before the storm. It's kind of the okay, we're here. Playoffs are soon. But I'm kind of sick of seeing you every single week, and I'm just ready to know what the rest of my season looks like and where we're at in the playoffs. Don't talk to me.
Well, so that's the struggle I have, right? So if what happened today, we had a bunch of people mad at one another. Mm-hmm. We had passing because the 19 put on tires late into a run. It drove all the way up from outside the top 15 to inside the top 10.
Yeah.
So I just don't know what the ingredients are, because next week they're even going to be at each other's throat even more, and it still wouldn't shock me if that second stage ran green at Richmond. So so I have an opinion that, and this happens in every sport, that the data analytics will tell you as a driver that you're better off to concede a position than perhaps wreck a race car, because that hurts you more in the points. I think that's why we're seeing some of the races just be a little bit more, I don't know if casual is the right word, but they play nicer than they used to or make less mistakes.
So today was a little tame.
It was.
For me.
Especially to have some chirpy guys out there.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know if that's maybe because the next 2 weeks, obviously a short track, we don't know what we're going to get from Richmond.
Now, if I'm a playoff driver, I'm going to be clear. If I'm crew chiefing a playoff driver, I'm letting my guy know, hey, man, there's no reason to make some unneeded enemies.
You're ecstatic that you had a very
like, hey, man, let's not leave here with any
day.
Unneeded enemy. It's okay that when we get into the playoffs, if the other playoff drivers hate us, that's fine because we are in the battle. But the last thing you need is to have an enemy that doesn't have as much on the line as you inside the playoffs. Yeah. So you don't want to do that to yourself either.
Before we close the show, can we talk about enemies a little bit? Because I think Carson Hocevar gained another one with Brad Keselowski after qualifying. Did you see this?
I did.
What was this about?
All right, so here's what happened. Hocevar was on a lap. Once again, he left the track at a turn 6.
Okay.
Brad, I don't know what was said on his radio, so I assume I feel like he's out of the way. He's driver's right, where if you're entering the last corner, you enter driver's left, right? So, but Hocevar gets so far to the right, he can't get back over. Then he's mad at Brad, and during Brad's qualifying lap, he slows down through the S's and messes up Brad's lap. So here's my frustration with this. To be good in this sport, you have to not care what others think.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that. And then here goes Brad right here sprinting down to talk to Hocevar.
It's the fastest I've ever seen Kez run.
Right,
ever.
And he's pissed. So here's my point. You have to be a jerk to be good, but only be a jerk when you benefit. Yeah. So here's my point about the Hocevar thing, right? If, he wrecked Zane Smith at Iowa, and we said in practice, they were like, hey, should he go apologize to Zane? I'm like, no. Like, he didn't mean to do it. He got in there and he's this. I know Zane's mad about that. Mm-hmm. But, that's racing. Hocevar brake checking Brad going up the S's gains Hocevar nothing and still makes an enemy. Maybe, perhaps, if he would have just waited and saw Brad in the bus line after qualifying, was like, man, you were in my way down here. Brad might have been like, but I'm sorry, my bad. And then the opposite, maybe you got a little favor coming to you on the restart where you need Brad to just give you that extra 6 inches to let you in line. Now you didn't do that.
Won't happen now.
Yeah, I just feel like you have to make enemies to be good in this sport. I totally believe that. And I'm a Hocevar fan. I love that he doesn't care. I love his aggression. I love his speed. Him wrecking Ricky Stenhouse at Nashville, I didn't love, but I felt like it was racing. But then you can't run him over at Mexico City a lap down. You just cannot. And that's what I want to see out of Hocevar is that next step of, hey, man, it's okay to be mad at Brad. Yeah. And Brad was at fault. Hocevar did nothing wrong, but was qualifying the time to go get even. I just don't think that's wise.
I also don't know if I'm making enemies as we head to Richmond and Daytona and get into the playoffs. It's just not going to be.
Well, I don't think he cares,
clearly he does not care.
Which is, hey, buy a Hocevar t-shirt. I call him Mr. Excitement. I took it from Jimmy Spencer, right? He's been retired a while, so I'm giving it now to Hocevar because he is exciting. He is. I can see if a fan loves him, he's a little Kyle Busch-esque or a little young Joey Logano, right? Like the fans that boo him, I'm like, I see why you're booing. The fans that cheer, I'm like, I see why you're cheering. That's okay. I like a reaction. I'm good with it.
It is good for the sport. I think any type of conflict or any type of personality is great for the sport, whether it be good publicity, bad publicity.
Think of the money he saves on postage for his Christmas cards. He doesn't have to send very many.
Has no dinner invites ever.
I like it.
Doesn't have to be social.
Hocevar's fun to watch.
All right, before we close here on the show, can we pull up the standings just one more time, D'Lo, if we have this handy, of this playoff pressure cooker. I want to pull up just the bubble as we head to Richmond and to Daytona, because we are closing in on what the regular season is. It's going to end. It's going to have a bow on it, but we're looking ahead to what these 16 field playoff drivers may look like. So right now, is this how it stays for you?
I could see another winner. So I think that we scroll a little bit the other way. Show me Reddick in 14th. Reddick's in. I have Tyler Reddick in.
Okay.
I feel like it would take a collapse for Bowman to be out, but it could happen. I wouldn't sleep good if I was on the 48, not because they're doing anything wrong. It's just, it's not a guarantee.
60 points.
Yeah. And I think at Busher, man, I'm super scared. I just think Ty Gibbs, Kyle Busch, Dinger, Brad, Carson. I mean, look, we've gone 22 weeks and they haven't won. So I'm not going to say, a win's right around the corner. But if I said Brad Keselowski won at Daytona, would you be so shocked?
No, I wouldn't.
You know, or if we said, you know, Ricky Stenhouse.
Not at all.
Right? Now, look, of people that can win at Richmond, Kyle Busch, Gibbs. I mean, Hocevar would shock me a little, but he runs decent. And Austin Dillon won there a year ago. So there's kind of like, so the list is, I'm not going to make up all these people that I think can go win at Richmond. That's a bunch of manure. Like, I don't think that's going to happen. But there's a lot of guys that could win at Daytona.
Everybody on that list can win at Daytona.
They really could. I mean, look how many have won at Daytona. We did this last week, right? There's a whole group of them that have won at Daytona. So I just feel that for that reason, if we go back up to the guys above the cut line, if you're a Busher, today was a big win because you got closer to Bowman. If you are a Busher, my only goal is to finish Daytona in front of Alex Bowman in points. If you do that, you make the playoffs.
Okay. I like that. So we have 2 weeks left in the regular season, obviously Richmond and Daytona. Is William Byron your regular season champion?
Yep. I think there was, it got squeezed down. He kind of fought his way through and he stretched his gap now. I think Byron's the guy.
All right. We're light.
How about, hey, if it's 8 a.m. where you are and SVG's your driver, you can switch from coffee to something stronger. Congratulations.
I think
Enjoy
it's almost 8:30.
Oh, they're great then.
Yeah, they're ready to start their day. So we appreciate everybody tuning in. Shane Van Gisbergen just showing us all just how great he is on road courses. So
it's going to be great. Now listen, next week, night race.
Saturday night.
So tune in to Inside the Race on Sunday. We're going to do it the next day. We're not going to keep everybody up. Look, my bedtime, I can't be up past midnight. So we're going to do Inside the Race the next day. We're going to do that for most of the night races. But if it's a day race, tune in after the race. Alex and I will be here. We might have some guests. It's going to be great times.
Yep. On behalf of Steve and myself, thanks so much for joining us here at Watkins Glen. We hope you enjoyed the road course race. We'll see you next week on Inside the Race.